Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Friday Tai Chi. Before we get started, I have a little announcement. Join us at 2 o'clock. Let me look at it. Christine Hunter will be giving a talk about her book, Conversations with Sacramento's Trailblazing Political Women. That's at 2 o'clock. That's a Zoom class, right? Great. I hear it's incredible, and you will not regret signing up for that. All right. Let's get started. Let's do a little Shingy negong. Trying to do a little bit of this one. So I'm doing the biggest version I can, right, just to show what's happening. Actually, the biggest version of this actually involves more, let me try to do this. More up and down movement, more kind of reciprocal movement. So I tend to show it in that mode, but I know a lot of you have various conditions that may make it more difficult to do the big motion. In fact, I had a student this week who just had shoulder surgery. That's a tongue twister. Yeah, just had surgery. So we did the whole class, he did the whole class, just very small. Like waist, like our whole Tai Chi form, we did the whole thing from, kind of waist height, very small motions. And Tai Chi in general really lends itself to that kind of adaptability in terms of just the size of the movement, because most of the stuff that's going on is happening mentally anyway. So if you need to minimize the size of the circles that I'm making, by all means do so. Just use your own judgment on that. So that would look like this. So I'm still, mentally I'm still doing the great big circular motion. But depending on the condition of various joints or whatever, I might minimize it and still have a really, really productive workout there. Okay? Just so you know, we can always do. Also, we can make the stance shorter, depending on how your legs feel that day. So you can make it very small, and it's still very beneficial to your whole body. All right. I'll go back to my normal mode here, reverse direction. There it is. And you'll start to find that your breath will naturally begin to synchronize with the movement. I think that just kind of takes care of itself over time. Okay, let's transition to lateral. This is the Jade dragon weaving around the body. As always, let your arms feel heavy, as if they're resting on something, resting on a shelf, resting on a table. And that'll let you relax your shoulders, and then that's going to do a lot of things. One of them it'll connect you to your center more, the more relaxed your shoulders get. The more of a connection you'll sense between the arms and your waist and your back. Okay, and then we'll circle this around in this plane. When you reach the bottom, you should feel that your whole arm is heavy. So it feels like the weight of the arm kind of pulls the shoulder socket open a little bit. And if you can maintain that sense of openness through the whole circle, you're doing really good. It might take a few reps though, you know. It doesn't just happen by itself. You kind of have to, you know, intend for it to be so. There it is. And just when you start getting the hang of it, you have to go the other way. Okay, that one was pretty good. There you go. Okay, let's move it over. And reverse again. Feet come together, touch your hands on the top, clap your hands behind you. And stretch like a rubber band, pull from the feet. Okay, now pull your tail way back and stretch your arms out. You're trying to increase the distance between your hands and your tail. So stretch way out, push your butt back. And then when it's time to come back to vertical, let the crown of the head pull first. And elbows pulling straight down to the floor. Bend from the waist, bend from the hips. Let the arms hang. Let the head hang. There's a little rotation here. You can just think of stretching one side of your rib cage open as the other side contracts. And that's all the turning you really need there. Okay, so before we stand up, we squat down first, lift the head, let the head pull the body. Take a step, turning. Feels like this is it's like a cradle. You got a heavy object in your arms and you're just kind of letting it swing. It feels like it's swinging. So the trick is, when I do the leg movements and the exchange of steps, I'm just trying to not interrupt the natural flow of that heavy object that I'm letting swing like a cradle here. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about. When it comes back around here, I'm going to take the step, and the whole body connects to that object. And then it goes all the way to the end of its tether. I'm going to hold it there for a second, breathe in. Then I'll initiate the direction change with a head turn, and now here comes that weight. It swings across the body, and the weight of this thing is what pulls that leg in eventually. Okay. So that's just a little trick to get me to stay connected through every facet of this movement. The exchange of force between one leg and the other. So even in the simplest of movements, there's always more going on than meets the eye. All right, we will come back to shoulder wide. Whew. Now set your checklist, go through your body parts and make sure everything lines up. Okay, head turn. And back to neutral. Okay, look up. Everything opens. Drop your chin. Pause for just a second. Lift the crown. Look down. Everything's closing. Your back feels round here. Your chest feels contained. Your hips even feel like they're maybe withdrawing slightly. Okay, pass through the neutral zone. Up. Lift the crown. Drop the chin. Good. Feet together. Upward press. That's the official name of this is what? Empty, let's see, empty one foot, raise a single hand. I think that's pretty close. Okay, so mentally focusing on the relationship between the weighted leg and the hand that's pushing. So they're gonna be opposite. So your right hand is going up, your left leg bears the weight, and it'll keep changing. Tending to inhale on this part and tending to exhale as it converges back down. Okay, massaging the palm. This one has a cool name. This is Ape Arms Enliven the Blood. Okay, so we're going to dig down deep, get underneath your hands, close, elbows rotating in towards one another. Inhale, open, rise up on your toes. Exhale sharply. Okay, holding your kidneys. You can widen your stance a little bit if you want to. And big circles with your pelvis. This is primarily for the kidneys, bladder, lower back. Reverse. Good. All right. Now bring your legs together. Place your hands on your knees. This is just a half circle. It's not very big. And then it reverses. And squat. And again, just like before, lift the crown. Crown pulls the body up. All right, we're going to use our chair here. This one's low. Okay, starting out on this, just massaging the knee. Okay, now keep the legs straight. And just slowly work your way down so that the elbow's pointing toward the toe. And when you feel a little gentle stretch happening, just hold it there. Try to relax and just breathe into that hamstring. And every time you exhale, you might find you can go a little bit further without even really trying very hard. Okay, so after maybe 3 or so cycles of breath, push your heel into the floor. And again, pull your crown up and come back to vertical. Whew. Let's try this side. I think I mentioned this before, but before I go to the folded arms on a table position, I always try to, relax them first. So they're just kind of hanging there. So I have to, use my body to sort of toss them up onto the table. Then when I do that, if I remember to do that, this part seems to go better. Because it's relaxed from the outset. Okay, push. Very good. All right, now we're going to stretch the leg out sideways. Get a cramp in my hip here. All right, now this one is just reaching, squeezing maybe. Squeeze, don't squeeze too hard. Just close your fists and pull back. That's it. Kind of leaning into it and leaning back out of it. Good. All right, let's go the other way. Very good. All right, we're back to square one. Feet flat on the floor. Kind of moving yourself a little bit toward the edge of the chair, sitting on your sitting bones, the 2 rounded protuberances, there's a good word, at the bottom of your pelvis. You're sitting on those bones, and those are kind of the surrogates for the ground connection that you have when you're standing on your feet. So that becomes your base point from which to pull the crown, right? So this is true of all seated practice, so I just want to do a quick little recap of what to be aware of. So just like doing any other kind of Tai Chi, you lift the crown, you drop your chin, kind of soften your chest, right? Breathing in through the nose if possible, and letting your lower abdomen expand as you breathe. And not just this way, right? You're kind of taught to think of the breath as this whole kind of thick belt region that goes all the way around your body back where your kidneys are, and that whole region is thought to kind of expand. Whether it actually does is beside the point, but you're thinking that it is, or you're imagining that expansion is occurring through this whole area of your back and your waist. And just relax your shoulders And this is the last movement of Shingy negong, opening and closing. So inhale, exhale. Okay, then when you're done, however many reps you want to do, just close your fists and relax your elbows and let them come back toward the sides of your body. Open your hands and let them drift right down. If you'd like to just sit there for a minute or so, that's great. So we're just going to observe the same postural attributes that we were talking about earlier. The only new thing is we're just keeping a little bit of space under the arms, like you've got golf balls under your arms. In other words, not letting them completely close like that, just leaving a little bit of space, not that much, but just a little bit of space there. And sometimes, if I'm already in a seated position anyway, I will go ahead and do my seated qigong. So this doesn't necessarily have to be done, or I would say rarely is it done as part of any other set, but this is sort of a standalone practice I wanted to share with you because I think, like I mentioned the first time we did this, is just over the years I feel like this thing has paid its way, in the toolbox, because there's been more than a few times when I was just really glad I had this, because maybe I'm just too tired or too injured to do anything else that day. But this gives you another option. So I did want to, on a semi-consistent basis, go through this very, very simple seated qigong with you called Blossoms in the Spring. So we're going to rest one hand on top of the other hand. Maybe touch the tips of your thumbs together. And I just let you follow along. It's really simple. Inhale. And then the hands are going to float up to your solar plexus. And then exhale. And they drop down again. Notice the hands have separated. They will not touch again until the end. And just let your breath be what it is. Just let the movement sort of synchronize with whatever your natural rhythm is. Then after 3 of those, separate the hands. Then when they clear your thighs, rotate. And yeah, you can lean forward a little bit here to kind of facilitate this movement where you're tracing the outside of your thighs with the tips of your thumbs. Then when your hands are in front of your knees, inhale, raise them up. Exhale, let them come back down again. We're going to rest the hands on the knees, and we're going to let the 4 fingertips land first, followed by the thumbs, followed by the palms of your hands. And then when your palms are touching the knees, just completely relax the whole weight. So it just feels like your arms are just resting on there. And that's considered the end of, there's 3 sections of this in all, and that's considered the end of the first one. So this would be an appropriate time of, you can just sort of rest there for a few cycles of breath if you feel good about it. And then when you're ready to start the second one, the hands will come up again. So this is called pulling the young grass. Then you kind of form this little pyramid shape. And again, you can lean forward a little bit to create some compression. And you're just going to push forward gently. pushing a ball through the water. It only travels maybe 10 inches, 12 inches. Then let your hands slide down the sides of this imaginary pyramid, and then with your fingertips, this is called tracing the butterfly's wings. And they return to the pyramid. Now this is just like before. Open, inhale. This is called Phoenix spreads wings. And then when you're fully spread out, rotate your palms so that they point up. And bring the hands back in. This is called gathering energy. And when your hands are in front of your shoulders, you get to read the big book. Okay, hands come down, wash your face. And you'll find your hands are in your lap again. So rotate them, pull out, just like before. Trace your thighs. Inhale. Exhale. You can do the same thing as before. Let the hands land on the knees. And let yourself come to rest there. Good. That's the end of the second section, so you can rest there for as long as you like. Okay, third and final. Pulling the young grass again. This time it just keeps rising all the way up until it's over your head. And when they reach the top, this little motion here is called waving the banner. It just flips the hands back down. Like that. And they begin to come down. And this is called lowering the crown. And you put the crown on your head and you keep lowering until the hands are close to your shoulders. This is called holding the Jade pillow. And then reverse the flow back up. This is pushing up to heaven. And just like before, when you reach the top, that's right, wave the banner. This is the rain falling. We're heading for the knees again, just like the last time. Okay, fingertips touch, thumbs touch. Palms rest, relax. That should feel good right there when you completely relax the weight of the arms. Okay, last one. Take your left thumb and draw a vertical line up your center. And you're going to make a cycle. So the other one will join in. One circle. Then, depending on what you plan to do, if you want to do another set, you'd start here. If you're going to finish right there, bring your hands back to rest. Thumbs touch. And you can just stay there for a while. Okay. Unless you had to do Tai Chi now, which we do. But in real life, you would just sort of, transition back to your normal activity kind of gradually. So don't go run a marathon immediately after that. Just sort of transition and just kind of try to enjoy that sense of calm, that sense of peacefulness that you get when you do any round of, slow, conscious, mindful movement. It does wonders. So let's do a little bit of Tai Chi. I'm going to do a little review of what we were, just in case you missed last week. I did a thing where I showed some of the opening for those that want to do it. I showed how the actual foot movements go for this long form, just in case you wanted to add a little bit of spice to your practice. So just in case you missed that one, I'm going to go ahead and review that, and maybe we'll go one more. So we'll see here. Let me get my chair out of the way. We'll take a water break as well since I'm over here. Okay, this is how we started. Heels together. You know this already, I know. Uji stance. Drop to the right leg, step out with your left, about shoulder wide, and then adjust that foot so they're both pointing straight. It's going to move again in a second, but so this part, inhale. Now there's like a breeze blowing in from the ocean. You catch the breeze in your hands, and your hands will expand like sails on a sailboat. And you feel the pressure of that wind or that breeze pushing on you. So let it push you into the ground. It comes back. And just let them fall right back down again. And you're in the ready position. You're in the checklist position. Okay? So first thing we're going to do, if we're going to do the foot movement, is we're going to rotate that right foot back out to about 45 degrees and then begin shifting all your weight to that leg. Right? So you're going to start shifting. You got plenty of time. Shift your weight, and as you shift your weight, you're going to start opening. This is to strike the palm. Right? When all the weight is on that leg, bring your left foot in and step forward. So that's the first posture. That's called strike the palm to ask the Buddha. It's a single leg posture, right? So if I just do the footwork, it just goes, turn it out, shift your weight, step forward. Notice I don't step directly from that position to there. Notice I don't do this, although that would certainly be simpler if I did. But what I'm doing is I'm going to bring it in first, so it sort of floats next to my ankle, and then it goes forward. So it takes a path that kind of goes in and out, right? So, there. Okay. Back again. Open. So if I'm really doing this, really ideally, which is certainly not always the case, this frame is going to form at the same time my stepping foot touches the floor. So let's see if I can pull this off. Now that I said it, I have to do it now. Close, not quite. Let me try it one more time. Open. There, that's better. Okay? So that's the first move, right? Just in case you want something to do. So I think last week we went through the one after that too. So strike the palm, ask the Buddha. Now what's going to happen now is as I do this motion that you already know, which is I'm going to fold this hand inside the crook of the elbow of the other hand, the other arm, I'm just going to bring this in. Now here comes grasp the bird's tail. Here it is now. As this thing expands outward, because you know this part already, this is the part where we go like that. I'm going to step back 45 degrees with my left leg, like that. Okay? So the trick is, try not to fall on the leg. See, this is why Tai Chi is famous for, among other things, reducing slip and fall injury in seniors, because it forces you to balance on the one leg and control your balance while the other one goes back. So if that's a new thing to you, that's something worth practicing, in a safe environment. If you need balance help, put some chairs here and just hold on to the chairs. But this is a great exercise, just practicing going back, not letting your body weight fall, and just sort of touching your foot down, right? Just touching it down very softly, and then let your weight fall. Okay? So, let's see, where are we? Right here. I'm going to fold this in, bring the leg in, As my hands are expanding out, I'm going to step back. Now, the energy and the strength for this pulling motion comes from the weight shift. That's kind of what I wanted to show, right? So if we just wanted to do this as an exercise, this should look familiar, right? We do this ward-off roll-back exercises. Usually we do it as part of Shingy negong. If we weren't sitting in a chair, we would do this one, right? So this would be a great one. If you're feeling, you know, super ambitious on a given day and you want to work your legs a little bit more, that's where that comes from, right? This is where that exercise originates. It's just from this moment. Okay, so I'm going to do that for a while. Now here's how the actual form goes. I'm going to get all the way to here. The toe comes up. And when the toe comes up, that means I don't have any weight on that leg. I'm going to pull it. Or let it pull itself, I guess, as I should say. Like that. Now that's when this ball is going to cycle around. I'm going to step. Okay? Right? So just in case we want to see where we're at, this is what we just did. Strike the palm, grasp bird's tail, roll back, push. Okay, that's the way we normally do it. Now what we've added are these little steps. Strike the palm, grasp bird's tail, okay, so this is the stance that we were talking about. Okay, this is as far as I got last week. I think probably I'll stay there for another week because I don't want to add more stuff on it because I know some of you are still getting your sea legs on this one. But this stance is kind of the magic stance of this particular style. It's unusual. This style is kind of what would be the word? It's not fringe, but it's a rare style. it's not, you know, that mainstream. It's kind of pretty rare. It's only people that trained with Sifu Kuo in San Francisco in the 60s, blah blah. But this is what makes the stance, the style kind of unique, is that kind of a half horse stance that's sort of twisted. Yeah, that's the idea. So just like I was saying last time, the thing to look at when you're doing the stance is to resist the temptation to you know, put all your eggs in that one basket and try to overdo that forward lean. Because I know intuitively it feels like that makes you stronger, but it's just the opposite. It makes you weaker because it destabilizes your balance. So when we get to this position, every time we hit the form, I always tell you guys, think of sitting down here, like just straight down, boom, like that. Right? Now you don't have to go wide like this. I mean, I'm just doing it because I'm showing it, but you can go real narrow and still have that sense like you're sitting on one of those exercise inflatable things where you drop your butt on it and it expands and it pushes your knees out. I think that's a lot more beneficial, right? A lot healthier, and also it's kind of challenging for your leg strength as well. So every time we get in that position, I'm going to be doing that. So what comes after that? Well, here comes single whip. I'm doing it right there too. Okay? So every time we see the single whip, you see I've got that arch going, right? And every time we do, like, what would be, like if we did cloud hands, oh, they're right there. See that horse? The arch. Anywho, that's kind of one of the main points of negotiating this particular style, the Guang style. Good, very good. You guys look good on that. All right, we're going to do our flagship. We're going to do our main form now. So I'll start official here. As always, Wuji position. Drop the weight to the right foot. Step out with the left foot. Adjust the right one so they're both pointing straight. Now settle into your ready position, i.e. the checklist stance. Okay, here we go. gonna sit right there. Great. Okay, this is repulsed monkey. One thing I notice, I keep meaning to mention this, if you can really get yourself to just completely let the arm hang when it goes down off of your hip, when it slides off your hip bone, the part where it rises becomes a lot easier and it becomes a lot more connected. I'm finding that if I try to lift it right off of my hip, it tends to encourage that shoulder tension. So this, just one little thing is, just do that first. Just let it kind of dangle. Then when it comes up, it feels like the legs are pushing it up. Yeah, you know what I mean? That's a lot better, I think. Diagonal flying. Strum the lute. Okay, reach out, pull to your hip, raise the elbow, extend the left arm, turn your head, look down the length of your arm as you point. Little circle there. Push. Single whip. Wave hands like clouds. Now you can stand in this position as long as you like. And then when you bring your heels back together to form Wuji, the form is officially done. This is qigong. That's it. Good work, everybody. Thank you once again for inviting us into your home. All right, we'll see you next week. Good job.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.